Episode 34 of the Long Haul Podcast. Welcome everyone, my name's Nine and I'm joined by my friend Carrie, as always. And it's been a year and a half and I'm so happy to say that finally the beta is gonna come. Yes.
Good news, everyone, right?
How you doing, dude?
Doing fine. How you doing? How's the week been treating you?
Very good. I was absolutely ecstatic to read this yesterday, particularly because I was really not expecting it. But I think at this point I should know better, right? I mean, we do predictions every week on the podcast, and I think I've been correct on basically like 0 of all the predictions that I've ever made about about Artifact 2. So pretty standard, pretty happy. It was just
at least the man is honest.
Exactly. You, though, on the other hand, you were quite correct, good sir.
Well, not quite, because I didn't pull up a date, but like I said from the post that I read on Reddit from Eric, it kind of gave me the hint that it was closer than most people would expect. And actually, I'm just glad that that it actually is coming, and pretty soon. We still don't know if it's like in 1 week, 2, 3, 4, but at least we know that they're going to start throwing out invites. Yeah. So that's great.
Yeah, for sure. I was just commenting with you before we started here that I mean, of course, on the post they've updated the roadmap, and it took about 2.5 months. I guess this is probably the 9th post, if I'm not wrong. So 8 weeks, 2 months. It's been about 2 months since they went from step 1 of testing boring stuff to trickling out the invites. So I mean, I don't know. I don't think we can extrapolate, but if you want to do so anyway, you could potentially say this beta is going to be at least 2-3 months. I'm hoping longer, but we'll see. I mean, we don't have much information on it. So.
I don't know, man. If we look at Underlords, how long has that beta go?
Yeah,
it's like half a year, maybe more.
Yeah. That's a very good point. And Underlords was kind of a finished game already, right? So, and also Dota, I don't remember exactly how long the Dota beta was, but it was relatively long. I remember it took a while for me to get a beta key. And I mean, the running joke was that Dota 2 is still in beta, but yeah, we'll see. I mean, I thought this was going to take a long time until we would reach the beta, because I thought they would be wanting to test more stuff, to give us more information, to get a lot of features ready. But I mean, if they have all the features ready, great. Let us get our hands on it. But I guess on the other hand, also the common thread of all the podcasts, all the Reddit discussions was always, we don't know because we haven't played, right? It's
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of these things where you really need to get your hands on it to really know and give proper feedback. So I think this is pretty good, pretty good.
Yeah, I think they probably don't have, like you were saying, I don't think they have all the features ready. A proof of that is on the post that we're gonna scribble. They say that a lot of the stuff is locked, and that can be because they're still tweaking, or they just want us to subjectively look at those things first, because that's where they have all their doubts, or they just want more feedback on that part. But the thing is, if they started talking as soon as they started talking with us some weeks ago, we had to expect it. If it wasn't finished, it had to be close to it, because I had no other explanation for why wait a year and a half until some feedback was given. So if they started talking deep in my soul, I was like, okay, they got the game, it's done. They already have like almost finished product. So for me, it was like just a matter of time until we have anything to put our hands on.
Yeah, and we're gonna get into the thick of it. We're gonna discuss the little intricacies. Oh my god, man! My
Grammar is hard.
My dyslexia is getting worse since I learned German, dude. German is messing my brain up. I wanted to look at this image and say, come on, Valve, why don't you draw a new Monday, my dude's picture? The pictures, the logos of the posts have been so great every week, and this week they repeated it. So I'm gonna say I'm just very slightly disappointed. But all right. So, what do they say?
I mean, if you look at it, it's like the circle closed, right? Because that was the first image that they gave us when they started talking us. So it's a full circle. Yeah.
I mean, in a way, I expect that there will be more posts, right? So I hope the circle is not closing. But let's talk about the beta. Let's dissect this thing. So. The beta for the original game started too late and was too short, so we've decided to change things up a bit this time by inviting people to join us while we are still under construction. Like I said, the roadmap now is on point 2, trickle out invites starting with players of the original release, work on the beta, eventually transitioning to an open beta, then eventually leave the beta, obviously. So this paragraph coming up right now is something that people are talking about because, once again, Valve managed to not be completely clear. We will be sending an email to all players with the original game on their Steam account. It doesn't need to be installed. Emails will appear by next week. Follow the instructions in the email to sign up for beta. So if you look at the Portuguese translation, for example, or the Spanish translation, and I obviously don't know all the languages, but in some languages it says that you will get the email until next week, and other, like for example in German, it says you will get the email starting next week. So not clear. I think the original English post doesn't help much.
Let's not get lost in translation.
Nah.
The way I see it is, will appear by next week is like, well, next Monday we'll start getting invites or something, because the week started on this Monday when they launched this. So I expect the next Monday is when we start seeing, or next Sunday, we start seeing invites popping out on people's emails.
Yeah, for sure. And at the end, it doesn't matter. This is just us being picky now that we know it's everyone just wants to get this thing as fast as possible. So details, but I just wanted to talk about that because a lot of people have been talking about that. And I was talking about that on Discord earlier. So they say they were going to use a lottery system. So from the get-go, we know that everyone who's installed the game before March 2020, so before the posts started coming out, everyone who had the game beforehand will receive this email, and then you can opt in. So already from the get-go, everyone who is not interested or who doesn't check the email will not be able to participate in the beta, which I think is a really good approach to it, because if someone is not interested, don't give them a key. So that's a good initial selection. And then from there, they're going to use a lottery system to invite the people who have opted in. They said beforehand in one of the previous posts that the invites were going to be mostly random. And this time around, they clarify that it's going to be absolutely random. So there's not, presumably from this kind of indirect clarification, I'm presuming that there will be no direct invites. But it is kind of the interpretation that I made from the previous post where they wrote mostly random. I realize I'm dissecting really tiny things, but I still think it's like a kind of an interesting detail. We will see. At the end, you know what's going to happen? If people Swims, Slacks, the life coaches of the world, if they get the key randomly, everyone is going to say anyway that they got the key directly from Valve. So I'm sure there's going to be some drama there when that happens.
No, I mean, all professional streamers most likely will opt in. They might not play it at the beginning, which is something that they actually say here, that the population will be low at start and there's not much content to stream. So you might not be interested as a streamer to stream the game at the start. But, you know, streamers do other things outside of their streaming time, like play other games that they like, but they know there's no point in streaming. So I can expect that either Life Coach or Swim, and both of them, like you said, like the both you mentioned, I know they have like a big impact on Runeterra at the moment. They play the game, and it's probably not something that they'll just jump out and start playing Artifact 2.0 just because. But I expect all streamers that get the email to opt in for sooner or later to start playing it.
Yeah. What do you think of the thing that of the fact that they are using RNG selection?
Yeah, I'll take that with a grain of salt.
Is this good RNG or bad RNG?
I don't know. I thought they wanted to end RNG because RNG was bad, so I don't know.
I think it depends on the outcome. If we get it, it's probably pretty good RNG, right? If we don't get it...
look, man, it's like I had this conversation. The first post that they talked about the beta, I had this conversation. I can expect that they actually send specifically the invites to some people instead of roulette. Because let's face it, you need influencers, like streamer influencers that play games to play your game. It makes sense to me. I can't just bash, be it Valve or Riot, or whatever to do by doing that, because that's just part of how the ecosystem works with this. So I'm fine with all other streamers getting keys as long as I get mine. So that's fine with me.
Well, they do say that there are not going to be any restrictions on what you are allowed to say, to stream, or to share. So no NDAs. Cheers, everyone. If you get a key, knock yourself fucking out and enjoy and stream and show the game. It is going to be frustrating for people who don't get it. I mean, I am certainly going to be frustrated if I don't get it. I'm going to be happy that I can get to watch other players for sure, but yeah, it will be bad feelings. It will be feels bad, man, if I don't get it, but it's fine. At the end,
so I think this is gonna work in waves. Okay, so I expect everyone who had the game before March to get the email, and then if you opt in, depending on how many people opt in, they might do this in waves. I expect everyone will get into the beta sooner or later. They'll just randomly do waves, sure. And like 2,000 people now, and then another 2,000 people, and something like that. Maybe less. Don't know.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, at the end, it would all be about the numbers and the quality of the feedback that they receive, right? Because say that not a lot of people opt in, and they get a very small, relatively small first wave. They can obviously tweak the numbers or send in another wave earlier. I mean, we don't know how many people they want. I'm sure they have a ballpark figure of how many people they want. So if it would happen that not enough people would opt in, they can anyway just tweak the percentage numbers of how many people get in, right? I mean, we don't know what the percentage of the lottery is. Imagine the lottery is like 1% of people get a key. Like, that's really bad odds. We don't know, but there's no point in speculating. I just hope everyone that really, really wants it gets it. The community as it is right now is not so big, so
I expect every long hauler to be interested in opting in, right? I can't see anyone that still plays the games or still likes the game just not opt in. So it's just look at how many people are still actively playing or talking on the Reddit and see. Well, that's a bad example because a lot of people talk there and not play or don't give a crap. They just talk to bash and toxic stuff. So yep. I don't know. I expect most people will get into the first or second wave because, like you said, there's not that many people still playing or interested.
Yeah, we will see. This is all complete speculation, but what we do know is some people are going to be testing the game, and they introduce a small FAQ to the post saying that people will be testing Gameplay, obviously, balance, hero identity, color identity, social features, very importantly. This is really important, I think. Card unlocks, ranked play, replays, spectating, and the campaign. So there will be ranked play, there's going to be social features, we're going to test the card unlock system, and replays. Man, thank God. Replays and spectating, really, really important features that really, really should have been in the first game and weren't. And the campaign is going to be very interesting. I think from what I've heard from Underlords, people really have been enjoying the single player stuff. If I think about Dota, on the other hand, Dota doesn't have much in the way of like new player experience type things, but Dota has workshops, so you can have all the mods anyway.
To be honest, campaign is not something that I have a curiosity about. I might just press play on it and see what it is, but it's not something I see myself playing. Replays, on the other hand, is like something that should have been there from day one on Artifact 1.0. So that's going to be really good for learning your own mistakes and analyzing your play and stuff like that. That's something I value a lot.
So they go more specifically into what are we not going to be testing, and they say some gameplay modes will be locked. So for example, tournaments will not be available, draft modes other than hero draft will not be available until they choose to add more players. There could be a multitude of technical reasons for this. It doesn't really matter. And then the tutorial is also disabled since we are only inviting players over the original game, so the campaign should in itself be a good refresher if you haven't played the game in a while. Who should join? There will be bugs, temp art, and data may be reset early in the beta.
If there's temp art, 9 needs to be there. If there's temp art, 9 has to go.
I think I was discussing this on a Reddit discussion with someone, and people like me keep saying that it would be cool to have the temp art in. I honestly think it would not be bad to introduce an option like. Obviously not the default option, but it would be cool to have an option to say like cross it, go on the options, cross it, and have the temp art show up for yourself. I think that would be fun. Of course, they shouldn't put temp art in the official release of the game, but it's gonna be fun to see the temp art.
You don't know. Look, you just mentioned something that could be like, I don't want to say a microtransaction, but that could be some candy.
Yeah,
that could be game candy
for sure. I think it would be cool. It would be for sure cool. But yeah, so some data will be reset in the beta. Obviously, if you had decks and stats from 1.1, that's going to be irrelevant in 2.0. So we shouldn't get focused on that. And yeah. They talk about, we've already touched on this, how if you're a member of a press and influencer, can I get in? Selection for invites will be randomly generated. So yeah, otherwise, if you had the game...
Absolutely, maybe. I want to give kudos to whoever writes this and involved, because that is so cool.
Pretty cool. So yeah, otherwise they will be prioritizing people who purchased the game before March 30, so before the first under construction post. And yeah, they say, we have some ideas of what we'd like to sell, but none of them are card specs. And again, if we go back to the Underlords example, Underlords had no monetization for like a year, if I'm not wrong, right? So I'm wondering, because this kind of suggests that we're going to be able to spend money in the beta, which would be cool. I remember Magic Arena, for example, in the beta, you could spend money. I spent more money in the beta than I did when the game came out.
Okay, so if you're allowed to spend money, it's most likely pure cosmetics that will go through when the game launches. Like we can expect, they don't want to sell cards or packs because they don't want you to keep the cards themselves, or cards might actually change and you bought something that was OP and then gets nerfed and you cry your money out. So we know it's going to be cosmetics, most likely, like little impacts and stuff like that. You know you.
Let's hope so. So I don't know. That's today's or yesterday's post, if you will. Short but sweet. and now all we have to do is wait, man. It's been a year and a half, dude. It's been a fucking year and a half, man. It's unbelievable.
It's about time. Do tell me something. If you get a beta invite, are you like thinking about taking like vacations to play the game? Are you gonna stream nonstop, or what you intend to do if you get into the beta?
I will definitely try to stream, and because I work freelance, I will definitely, I think, try to reschedule, or I will probably try to reorganize my work schedule so that I maybe can stream Friday through Monday. I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to become a professional streamer. I don't have the time or the energy for that. I definitely want to stream. I definitely want to discuss the game and be in the community. I think it would be cool, but obviously we're not going to be having tournaments. I thought
that's out of the box right now.
Yeah, if there were tournaments, I would definitely like to be organizing and casting those. But since there will not be, what I might also do is just try to watch replays from like top end players, and otherwise I will for sure try to stream, and I think I will for sure try to sneak in the occasional free day to play. But yeah, nothing. I don't have any concrete plans, obviously. And you?
Pleb.
What are you gonna take holidays to play a buggy version of 2.0?
That depends a bit if I get in or not, because I might have to take vacations pretty soon because of all the stopping time and the projects I have that are going to kickstart in September. So I might need to take some vacations. So yeah, I actually might take some days off if I get into the beta and see how it goes. But yeah, I'm also not going to be a professional streamer because.
Yeah, I think like if someone wants to go like pro streamer or whatever, sure, do it every day, go for it. But yeah, I'm gonna be more of the occasional streamer as it is now. Like, I mean, I still do stream, but mostly tournaments and events, and I try to focus on that because that's what I enjoy. And I think it becomes a bit of a grind if you want to stream every day. I'll leave that to the Rashids of the world.
Oh snap!
All right, so I think that does it for this week, guys. If you have something to say about beta, if you want to watch more of our content, follow, subscribe, whatever, do your thing. Join the Discord. We're always talking about the posts and what's going on in the community. And yeah, I think that does it for episode 34, and we'll see you guys next week again. Cheerios.
See you guys. Let's hope all of you get a key.
Bye-bye.